and salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be doing a video where I recommend a bunch of romances that have like a foodie cooking theme. Greetings and salutations, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, and welcome back to Trope Week. If you don't know what Trope Week is, it is a series I do here on my channel occasionally, where for an entire week I pick one specific romance book trope and I give you a bunch of recommendations. I do have a playlist down below if you want to check out all the Trope Week videos I've done in the past. I think I have like 50 videos in that playlist, so I'll leave it down below. Today I'm going to be talking all about foodie romances. So all of these romances have like a food, cooking, baking theme thrown in them. This theme might seem a little niche, but there are so many books that incorporate food or the love of food, and that is really like one of my favorite side tropes because I have a sweet tooth. Let me tell you, I am always craving something sweet. My sister is a baker, so I do kind of blame her. She's always making the most delicious treats, so I love books that kind of incorporate that as well. I have a couple books to talk about today, so we're just gonna go ahead and hop in. The first book I want to talk about is Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison. This is the third book in the Love Light series, which you can technically read it out of order if you want to. It's one of my favorite small town romance contemporary series. In fact, I actually have a tattoo for each book in this series. This is a small town romance series. Our heroine, Layla, owns a tree farm with some of her friends, and she owns a bakery on that tree farm. Not having the best luck when it comes to dating. That is where our hero, Caleb, comes in. He is a high school teacher in the small town who also has not had the best luck when it comes to dating. They end up kind of striking a deal that they're going to fake date for an entire month with no strings attached. The idea is that they're going to go on these dates and provide feedback to each other, so hopefully they can figure out where they're going wrong on all of their first dates. However, of course, they fall for each other. One of my favorite heroes in a romance book like ever. I absolutely adore him. This is a foodie romance because our heroine owns a bakery. There's croissants, strawberry shortcake, cookies. Just the vibes are immaculate in this book. The next book is actually a novella, and that is A Dash of Heat by Christina C. Jones. It follows our heroine Maggie, who has a crazy sweet tooth, and whenever she's having a bad day at work or in life, she loves to go to this food truck that sells beignets, and that is where she meets our hero, who owns the food truck and is actually opening his own business. This book, our heroine has just recently got through a really bad breakup, so she's a little jaded, and our hero is there to like woo her and spoil her, and it's very adorable, so I definitely loved this one. This one I want to talk about is Oh Sacred Dark by Marina Vivancos, who by the way is one of my favorite authors ever. I know I talk about her a lot on my channel, but I feel like she is criminally underrated. She writes the most beautiful, emotional, romantic books on Kindle Unlimited. I highly recommend all of her books. But this one that I'm going to be talking about is called Oh Sacred Dark. This is the first book in her Coven Ties series. This does have witches and magic, but it also takes place in a dom sub universe where people are born either as a dominant or a submissive. Based on what your designation is, you have different biological needs as well. Thelma romance. It follows one of our heroes, Roman, who grew up in a coven that participated in blood magic, which is a very dark, cruel magic. Not only was he abused, but his coven also abused other people. Ends up making it out of that situation and getting placed in another coven, which is where he meets Tyler. Tyler is kind of like the second in command at this coven, and his job is to help Roman acclimate to society. And at first he is a little bit jaded because of the coven that he came from. Pretty soon he realizes all of the trauma that Roman went through, and it really does start as a friends to lovers romance. The reason I'm counting this as a foodie romance is because Roman actually ends up using food as a healing mechanism. He loves to cook for people, he loves to try new recipes, and that is a huge part of his healing process. And I absolutely love this book. It's so emotional. This entire series is amazing. I highly recommend it. Next one I want to talk about is A French Fling by Emily Silver. This is a sapphic romance that follows our heroines Abigail and Celine. One of our heroines, Abigail, owns a traveling company that she created to do tour guides for older people who want to travel. A big part of like the traveling experience that she creates is being able to experience all the different types of foods in all of the countries and places that they're going to be visiting. So food does have a huge aspect in here. She ends up meeting our heroine Celine because she hires a car service to help them transport to the different cities in Europe, and Celine is their driver. Celine is a little bit more shy and reserved, so this is another kind of like friends to lovers romance, and it is so freaking cute but also very steamy, and I loved just seeing all of like the adventures and the side characters. And and it really did feel kind of like a vacation in a book. So this is a really good one that I highly recommend. Okay, the next one is just kind of fun. It's a really short novella, and that is Two Scoops of Hellfire by Kimberly Loving. This one's just kind of silly. It's a short, like 60-page smutty novella. It takes place during the pandemic, and our heroine is trying to learn a new hobby, as many of us were. She's trying to teach herself to bake, but she is horrible at it. Like, I mean, absolutely awful. While she's trying to bake cupcakes, she ends up summoning a demon to her living room, and they have some fun, steamy times. It's so silly, but it's also super fun. This one is one of my favorites because it's a polyamorous romance, which you guys know. I love poly romances, more people, more fun. This one is called From Scratch by Katrina Jackson. It's another small town romance. The heroine is moving to a small town to follow her dreams of opening her first bake shop. When she gets there, she ends up meeting the town police officer and the town firefighter and has a connection with both of them and are really good friends, and they realize that they're both kind of after the same woman. And instead of it becoming a competition, they end up forming this really beautiful, evenly balanced polyamorous romance. The guys are together, they're with her. It was fun, it was steamy, it was cute. I loved it. I'm noticing a theme. A lot of these are like where the heroine ends up opening a bakery or already owns a bakery. It's just, it fits the theme, okay? So the next one is Fluff by Jenica Snow. This is another short and sweet novella. Our heroine has always had a dream of opening her own cafe, but specifically like a cafe that is also a library and a bookstore. That's where our hero Alfie comes in. He is her best friend and really encourages her to go for it and supports her dream. They've been best friends for a really long time, and there is a bit of a mutual pining trope in here. They have secretly loved each other for so many years, but never wanted to ruin their friendship until now. They're finally allowing themselves to be in a relationship, but it's cute and sweet. So if you like low angst romance books, then this is the one for you. Next up is Muscles and Monsters by Ashley Bennett. Surprise, surprise, our heroine owns a bakery. It's a monster romance. Our hero is a werewolf and our heroine is a human. Our heroine owns a bakery, and right next door is a gym, and one of the personal trainers at the gym is our hero, and he has a little bit of sweet tooth and is always coming into her bakery, and it kind of follows their romance. Hero is recently out of a bad breakup, so he is a little jaded, but when he meets our heroine, there is this like instant chemistry, and he just like wants to worship the ground that she walks on. He is the perfect balance of like a cinnamon roll hero, but also an alpha hero because he's a werewolf. There's a little bit of a primal kink in here too. All the fun things, all the fun time. Okay, I think like the next 5 are all novellas. You guys know, I love novellas. I love a short, sweet book that really packs a punch, and all of these do that. So the first one is Sweet Tooth by Casey Mint. Hero is a lawyer and he works for like a cutthroat law firm, and he is really desperate to make partner. And one of the partners of the law firm ends up assigning him the task of helping his niece start up her small business. The heroine in this book makes cupcakes, cake pops, like all types of baked goods, and she's starting up her small business, and our hero is kind of meant to help her. This is a grumpy sunshine pairing. Our heroine is literally sunshine personified. Our hero is this grumpy cutthroat lawyer who does not want to babysit anyone, but as soon as he meets her, he is just like pulled into her happy little orbit. I loved this one, super cute. Next 2 are also by Casey Mint. This is a part of her short novella series of plus size heroes. So the first one is Big Baker. Our hero is a world-renowned baker that works for this very prestigious hotel. Will travel all around the world and pay so much money just to try his baked goods. Our heroine, who works at the hotel as a cleaner, really catches his eye, and he is always leaving her little baked goods in her locker just as like a token of his affection, and it's so freaking sweet. This one is called Big Beast, and our hero is a very popular chef, and he owns like Michelin star restaurants, and he is opening a restaurant where a food critic is supposed to come. Our heroine works as a waitress at the restaurant, but ends up making like a huge mistake when the critic is there. She ends up like spilling food on accident because she's very sick that day, and catches the attention of our hero, and instead of him being mad, he is like instantly concerned about her and wants to kind of like nurse her back to health. Another age gap grumpy sunshine pairing, but I liked these 2 because it's the hero who is like the chef and the baker, and it's just really fun. Jessica Kane has a series of novellas that is all baking and foodie themed. This one all centers around a baking competition. There's actually 3 books in that series if you want to read it. There's A Pinch of Sugar, A Dash of Spice, and A Serving of Forever. They all follow this baking like reality competition. If you know anything about Jessica Kane, she writes very short, steamy novellas. Unfortunately, she is no longer writing novellas, which is so fucking sad. I really did like these 3 books, so I am including it in this video. This one is technically not a romance. It is a cozy mystery, although there is a romance in here, and that is Meet Your Baker by Ellie Alexander. You guys know I love this series. It's by far my favorite cozy mystery series, so I'm gonna talk about it because it fits the baking foodie theme so well. There are actual recipes in here too that you can follow. It follows our heroine Jules, who works on a cruise ship, but she is having some marital problems with her husband, so she decides that she's going to move back to her small town in Oregon. She grew up in a town called Ashland, Oregon, which is very known for their Shakespeare festival, like a renowned theater that does Shakespeare plays that a lot of people from around the world go to, and the entire town is Shakespeare themed. Her family owns a small bake shop in the area, so she goes back to help her mom with their family bake shop, and when she gets there, bum bum bum, there's a murder and she needs to find out what's happening. This is a pretty lengthy series. There's like 13, maybe even more books in the series, but everyone is so dang good. I love all of them. Highly recommend. Hi, this is future editing Sam interrupting this video because of course I forgot to add some books. I feel like that always happens. I try to create a list and stay on track, but still when I go back and edit, I realize I did forget some books. So let me go ahead and throw in some of the books that I forgot to mention originally in the video that have like a foodie romance theme. So the first one is 8 by Risley Adams. This is a novella. Our heroine is celebrating a promotion, so she decides to treat herself and get a personal chef to come to her home, cook for her, cater for her, and just have like a really special night in by herself and celebrate her achievement. She ends up having a connection with the chef and they share a very steamy night where food is not the only thing being eaten. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say with that one. The next one that has like a foodie theme to it is The Remaking of Corbin Whale by Roan Parrish. This is a male-male romance that has magical realism vibes in it. It follows our hero Alex, who is really going through a lot of life changes. He recently broke up with his boyfriend, he lost his job. He takes this opportunity to do what he's always dreamed of doing, and that's to own his own bakery because he's a pastry chef. So he moves back to his hometown. His mom used to own a coffee shop, so he buys that coffee shop and turns it into a bakery, and that is where he meets our other hero, Corbin Whale. Corbin is magic personified. He's this very shy, sweet, artistic character that the entire town really just doesn't understand and thinks that he's bad luck or thinks he's weird. But when Alex meets him, he recognizes that he is just like such a pure soul. I end up connecting on a level that is so deep and sweet and romantic. This book is sweepingly romantic. It does fall under a foodie theme because our hero Alex owns a bakery, and then Corbin ends up working at his bakery with him, and they really use food to show each other how much they care about each other, and it's really healing and just perfect. And another one is Perfect Matcha by Erin McLennan. This is a series of novellas that all center around a coffee shop. Each book has a theme of centering around this coffee shop that is very supportive of the queer community. They're all written by different authors. So this one obviously is written by Erin McLennan. This is a friends lovers romance. It's also a male-male romance. Our characters have been friends for a really long time, but one has been like secretly pining over the other but not wanting to ruin their friendship. One of their other mutual friends is actually getting married and they don't really want to go to the wedding alone. They kind of like embark on this mission of finding each other dates, but of course they fall for each other. All right, so those are the 3 that I forgot to mention in the original video, and now we can get back to our regularly scheduled program. So since this is Vlogmas, I do have 2 Christmas books that fit this theme really well, so I thought I would throw that in here. The first one is Mangoes and Mistletoes by Adriana Herrera, who I love. Okay, I have seen Adriana Herrera at many book signings, and every time I see her I always cry because she's beautiful. She's beautiful and wonderful, and her books are perfect. So if you're looking for a fun Christmas book to read, I highly recommend this one. So it's a sapphic romance. Our heroines are joining a baking competition. If you like the British Bake Show, this is the book for you. And when they get there, they kind of butt heads and they don't really get along. They're obviously competing to win this bake show, but they end up getting paired together in one of the challenges and having to work together, set aside their differences so they can win the competition. And it follows their romance. It's so cute. I absolutely loved it. Highly recommend. Another one is called Whisked Away at Christmas. This is an Audible original, so the audiobook is on Audible. It's another baking competition kind of book. Heroine owns a small bake shop and she is really trying to get her name out there, but she doesn't have the money or the training to do so. She's signing up for this competition and kind of like lies on her application saying that she has a little bit more training than she actually does, but she does get in the competition and it is really time to prove herself. Our hero is also trying to prove himself. He is also joining the competition. He is a well-known name in the baking community because his dad was like a world-renowned chef, really trying to make a name for himself and not like fall under his dad's coattails. Two characters actually do know each other and have kind of a complicated past, so it's an enemy-lover situation. While all of this competition is going on, there's so much going on in this book, but it's so well written. It's like a 6-hour audiobook. Highly recommend it. I really liked it. Right, so those are all of my foodie romances that I absolutely adore. I know there are so many more, so if you have any recommendations, please leave them down below so I can check them out. Hope you guys are enjoying Vlogmas so far. As always, thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!